Hey there, Jeff Manchester. Manchester Music is that's the channel that you're on. I started it, and we're here together, and we're going to talk about a product called Soothe 2, second generation by Oeksound. I don't know how to name the company. I don't know how to pronounce the company's name, but they make it. It is a dynamic resonance suppressor, they call it. And it is one of many plugins that I think are in an interesting cohort at this stage in history, in audio production and processing history. Sound on Sound, if you don't read it, you must, categorized it very well. They are part of, well, there's plugin companies out there, the Marvel movies, the big hits, the big box office franchises, the UAD and Waves. And then there's the indies. Soothe is an indie. And I think that's what makes it kind of attractive to mixing engineers, mastering engineers who have really given it a lot of critical acclaim. We're looking for stuff that's different, that's out of the box, that's coming from, places that aren't very expected. And Soothe is one of those companies, one of those plugins. It's an indie plugin, but it's kind of right. It's a bit of a heat seeker. It's really coming out of left field and really being established as a go-to tool by a lot of pros. And I wanted to know what the fuss was all about. So we're going to talk about it right now. All right, so this is Soothe 2. This is the GUI, very colorful, but also very understated and modern. We can make it bigger by going over here. Large, we can also make it huge or small. Totally up to you. Your choice, your life. You might be wondering though, why do we use this stuff in the first? Like, what's the deal? Doesn't everything sound great when you put it in front of a microphone? Like my voice right now, or my favorite singer, all that stuff. No, the answer is no. It doesn't sound great. Or the room, the microphone, or the singer, or the instrument could have stuff that we don't like, that's harsh on our ears. We call this resonance sometimes. Some people use the words harshness, sourness, muddiness, but the concept is always the same. It's stuff that needs to be taken down and controlled before we bring the body of the audio up with, limiting compression, saturation. Reverb brings level up as well sometimes. And before that stuff comes up, we have to do our housekeeping and remove the resonances. And I'm going to use some tools to help you kind of understand resonance as you hear it, because obviously it's nice to have that backup, visually we can see what we're getting rid of and see what's there and all that stuff. So I'm going to use some tools here, but I just kind of want to set the table for people who are like, why do we need this stuff? If you heard what most of your favorite movies and CDs and all that stuff sound like when the person's, or just someone in front of a microphone, it's not very compelling. We have to dress it up and also remove problems. And so you might be thinking, okay, well, don't we remove resonance with an EQ like this one? And it's true. You might have seen people, sweeping the spectrum, and then they hear a resonant frequency or something, and then they'll just suppress it. And that's the old way. And what I think plugins like Soothe are trying to do is give you a new way to do something that used to take a lot of steps and to have you do it in just a couple. And if you can do it in a few steps and get the same result as you would with the old tool, why would you want the old tool? You want the new tool, the thing that just gets stuff done faster with great results. And so that's why this plugin exists, I think, to listen for and dynamically suppress resonance on its own so that you don't have to scrub around the frequency spectrum annoyingly. No one wants to do that, listening for sourness or harshness. Nobody wants to do that. So I think in many ways, Soothe 2 really delivers on that kind of new generation of resonance suppression. It's something we're all going to have to do, and especially for beginners, if you don't know how to listen for this stuff and suppress it in the first place without hurting the vocal, or even advanced people that just want to move on and do more fun stuff. Soothe is the kind of antidote to that old way, that non-fun way. So I have set the table now. So let's jump into a couple samples, the female vocal and the cello. And here is what I want to do. I want to go first bypassed and then show you with insight where the resonance is occurring. And then I want to unbypass and then walk through the plugin. So here's what it sounds like before resonance is controlled. Guys, get good headphones, get good studio monitors. Don't get the crap stuff. Don't listen to this on a laptop. You're probably not going to be hearing it. Get some good headphones. I'll wait. Okay, here's before.
Don't give up on us. Don't give up on love. Don't give up on us. Don't give up on love.
So for me, I've done a lot of mixing, a lot of mastering. I can hear right away the problems and the resonances that I want to tackle, and that I would tackle with an EQ. But I'm using Soothe here to do that for me. So here's after.
Don't give up on us. Don't give up on love. Don't give up on us. Don't give up on love.
So I thought I'd bring in a tool that'll really illustrate what Soothe is doing It's called Insight 2. It's by Isotope, and it's just a really good way to see what is happening here. I'm using a spectrogram. It's going to be scrolling in 2D. I'm going to bypass the plugin and look at around the 700 hertz range. You're going to see little harmonics here in the spectrogram. Hopefully you can't hear my stomach growling.
Don't give up on us. Don't give up on love. Don't give up on us. Don't give up on love.
All right, we're going to stop this little screen here. So what do you see? You see these bright harmonics here, brighter than others, and that's where I'm hearing the resonance. This is bypassed, right? So not doing anything. It's really bright compared to the other guys. These are harmonics, by the way, in a vocal. I know it's a weird way to look at audio, but it's very helpful for what we're doing now. So I want to suppress that 700, and that's why I have this up here. So watch what happens when I unbypass it.
Don't give up on us. Don't give up on love. Don't give up on us. Don't give up on love.
And here it is, bypass. So here's before.
Don't give up on us. Don't give up on love.
So we can see this 700 hertz is after it's been suppressed, and this is before. And the before is much brighter. And that's because in RX, brightness corresponds to loudness or amplitude. We've elegantly, I think, suppressed that harmonic with Soothe 2. So that's just a visual guide in case you were wondering, like, what the hell is going on? I don't hear anything. We don't have the hearing of bats. Sometimes it's good to have visual confirmation of what's going on. So now that I've kind of set the table and help you hear what's going on here, let's talk about the plugin and what it's doing. I'm going to start by going here to flat start, okay? So everything is kind of at 0. Whoops. Boom. Boom. Click away. So we have a couple of controls. We have depth.
Don't give up on us. Don't give up on love.
And this is basically amount of suppression. And there's two algorithms, soft and hard. I find that soft delivers a really nice transparent reduction in resonance, while hard is a bit more aggressive. And sometimes you need an aggressive suppression kind of algorithm. It's a bit like a deer rifle with soft and a rocket launcher with hard. But sometimes you need a rocket launcher, like Bruce Coburn says. Canadian joke. Let's keep going. So the depth is, the amount of suppression. Let's bring it up here slowly.
Don't give up on us. Don't give up on love. Don't give up on us. Don't give up on love. Don't give up on us. Don't give up on love.
So it's kind of squishy and fuzzy sounding when I push it too far, so know when to pull back. We have sharpness and selectivity.
Don't give up on us. Don't give up on us. Don't give up on love.
So as I increase sharpness, the Q, if you will, is very narrow. Whereas when I bring it back,
don't give up on us. Don't give up on love.
It's a bit less kind of selective and less honed in. And selectivity looks like
don't
this.
Don't give up on us. Don't give up on love. Don't give up on us. Don't give up on love.
So it's not as aggressive in bouncing down the
don't give
harmonics.
Up on us. Don't give up on love.
Much steeper cuts when we back off on selectivity. If you want to know what any of these guys do, go here, enable the tooltips, and then go over and you'll see selectivity, for example. Less selectivity results in more overall tone shaping, more effective on noisy sibilants, which is like strongly stressed consonants, like ch, that kind of stuff. And more selectivity focuses on processing on the narrower peaks. And then we have, left and right, stereo stuff, mid-side stuff. This is the sexiest thing right now is mid-side stuff in all the plugins. I don't do a lot of mid-side work, so I don't really care. We have attack and release, and these, I think, mirror the kind of ballistics of a compressor, so how quickly we are attacking stuff and suppressing it, and release is how, quickly or slowly it's coming back up before it suppresses it again, and you can control that here. We have a lovely mix parameter, which is always wonderful, so we can kind of get an even blend of processed and unprocessed sound. And of course, we have trim, which is really helpful because if you've suppressed things to a point where things have actually kind of gone down in loudness, you can make up for it with a little bit of level. And there's a delta and a bypass, and this is great, this delta thing. I love this. So you can monitor, as it says here, the difference between wet and dry signals, so what's changed. It's really, really helpful. I'm going to disable the tooltips. So this is just another tool to allow you to hear what the module is hearing and taking away, this delta. So we'll do a before and after, and then it'll do a delta. So here's before.
Don't give up on us.
Let me actually go back to my preset. That might be helpful.
Don't give up on us, don't give up on love.
That's after. Here's before.
Don't give up on us, don't give up on love.
And here is what's being taken away.
Don't give up on us, don't give up on love.
Which is really helpful, I find, to know what the hell you're doing. Now, you might be wondering, why is this curved up? What's going on with that? Is this an EQ? What's happening? Well, what this is doing is basically, I'm going to go back to, let's go back to our flat start, and let's bring this up like this. When I boost here, I'm basically saying I want you to concentrate suppression energy in this region here. So from, however steep we are here, so from 129 to, well, wherever this thing ends here, let's bring it over here to make it nice and simple, 1.7k over here. So, and you can change the shapes too if you want to be a little bit more selective with with the shapes and all that stuff. But you'll see here, as I bring it up, it suppresses more aggressively what's happening down here. So it's almost like a mirror image boost and cut. So I'm cutting as I'm boosting here.
Don't give up on us, don't give up on love. Don't give up on us, don't give up on love. Don't give up on us, don't give up on love.
So another great thing to do if you're wondering where to tackle suppression, or like, hey, where's the harmonic? I see there's some dips happening. This is where the plugin is telling me it's hearing resonance, but I want to double check. Just lift this up and go to listen, and you can hear just what's in that range.
Don't give up on us, don't give up on love. Don't give up on us, don't give up on love. Don't give up on us, don't give up on love.
So.
Don't give up on us, don't give up on love.
And one of the new things about Soothe 2, I believe, I was not a Soothe 1 user, is that you can really broaden out the amount of suppression happening to the low end. I think you were kind of restricted, maybe at around 250 or 500. You couldn't really scoop out anything under that, but now you can really take care of those kind of subsonic frequencies, which is pretty handy. There's also a sidechain mode, which I don't really use in a lot of other plugins, so I'm not going to use it here. Let's jump over to another example of a cello this time, and cellos I find are quite resonant. Let's pop over to Soothe over here, and this is what I came up with here. And I got this preset actually from a very helpful folder. I looked at the presets for Soothe 1. They were not as kind of expansive as the ones for Soothe 2, and I think the team has really responded well to what people want. Obviously, they're talking to Joe Ciccarelli and Jakir and all that stuff, so there's some good ones, but especially for what we're doing here as composers, you'll find this orchestra one. And I think I used Contain the Low Mid. Yeah, there it is right there. So let's do a little before and after on that. Here's before. So to me, that's super resonant. Let's pull up Insight and see if we can see the spectrogram and see those bright, shiny harmonics. Whoops, let's go back. Okay, so you can see here, especially at 300, going up and down, a little bit up here at 500, it's bright. Now our goal, it's not a video game. We're not trying to make all these guys not as bright as they used to be. It's just a helpful guide. It's just a gut check to be like, okay, are those sounding a little bright, a little harsh? Yeah, they are. And we can see it right there. So let's turn this on and keep Insight 2 going. Here's before. And after. So I find that's making a world of difference. And obviously, if this was just soloed, I might go a little bit harder, but probably you would be, EQing this stuff or soothing this stuff in the context of a larger arrangement of other stuff. So on its own, it might stick out like a sore thumb still. By this, I mean like you might need to suppress a little bit more because it might be a bit aggravating to your listeners, those harmonics. But I think a little bit goes a long way here. And again, you have that mix knob. So if you want, you could bring this all the way up and really bring the sharpness in. And then just bring this mix down. Or up. But it's starting to sound a little bit thin if I go a bit too hard. So you could either, dial your controls in with the parameters here on the left, or go really extreme and then just blend it in to taste. And it's totally up to you. So again, the presets are here. You can obviously make your own, which is, not novel in this industry, but it's helpful. I made a couple myself. Synth, vocals, tons for vocals. Another good place for this guy, for Soothe, would be on the master bus, I think. And in fact, I believe there are some presets just for the master bus. Yeah, there it is right there, master. And this is really helpful. I find that what I'll do a lot is I'll do a lot of vocal processing on individual vocals, lead vocals. So we've got harmonies and all that stuff. I'll do a little bit of work not with Soothe, but with other plugins on those guys and tackle resonances and stuff with other tools. And then I'll just stick Soothe on my master or on my group, let's say vocal or vocal aux, just to do a little bit of light touch suppression to make sure that nothing's getting through, even after I've controlled for stuff on the inserts. So overall, I'm very impressed with Soothe. I think it's part of an exciting new cohort of tools that just make your life a little easier and allow you to get to a good result in fewer steps. The idea is just to pick a preset, boost things up, boost things down, and keep moving. We need to work at the speed of inspiration, at the speed of getting stuff done, at the speed of a deadline. And it's not fun to be going through and just sweeping through the frequency and hurting your ears to take stuff down. So let's end it there. Okay, so what do you think? You're going to buy this? Are you not going to buy it? You can download a demo, by the way. It is iLok, but iLok is in the cloud now, so you don't really need a dongle. But anyway, what do you think? You're going to get it? You're not going to get it? Criticisms? What'd you think of the video, the presentation? If you're here still, it's because you care and you have things to say. I want to hear them. Leave a comment down below. I'd appreciate it, but thank you for joining me. And join me for the next video. Bye.